Hello my dear friends and welcome to my channel. My name is Barbara and today we're going to be looking at Mars in Taurus. This video is for you if you have this placement. If you're a cross watcher, welcome as well. Very excited to be getting into this particular placement. Mars in our natal charts deals with how we go after things, what motivates us, how we handle conflict, and how we might express ourselves sexually. Taurus is fixed earth energy, so it's all about the material plane, it's all about the physical reality, it's all about getting those gains, going after your goals, your dreams, your ambitions, but in a very slow way. Taurus energy is the builder. Anytime you guys have Taurus energy anywhere in your natal chart, you guys are here to build something. You're here to build some sort of maybe legacy for yourselves. You guys might dream of this. This is the money access. It's all about getting those gains, the money. It's all about your values, your belief systems, and your own personal self-worth. So whenever you guys have Taurus anywhere in your natal chart, what these individuals a lot of the time are doing is they are here to master their own self-worth and figure out that true core identity, in the sense where it's like, who am I really? What is my worth outside of material things? That's the thing with the Taurus energy. So a lot of the time, Mars and Taurus, especially in the earlier part of their life, they might spend a lot of time building towards something, going after some sort of goal, and really developing their worth surrounding these things. And all these things are great, don't get me wrong, but on the other end of Taurus is Scorpio. So for you guys, really at the end of the day, when you guys kind of do get all those things and you guys do achieve these goals that you guys might have for yourselves, the question always comes down to what's going on at the core of the soul. That's the whole thing here. It's that deep soul searching and that deep introspection. For all of these Mars placements, you want to pull from the oppositional energy. Now, Mars is traditionally ruled by Aries and by Scorpio. So with that being said, Taurus is the oppositional energy. Taurus is known to quote unquote fall here when you guys have Mars in Taurus. Now, this isn't anything to fear. I know a lot of the time people freak out when they hear that their planet is falling. But the way that I see astrology is, how can we use this energy to better ourselves, and how can we use it to our advantage? So how can we kind of turn this energy around and use it to our advantage, which absolutely you guys can do when you do have Mars in Taurus. So this particular energy, because Mars is all about action, it's that first house. When we go into Taurus, it slows down here. So this energy is going to be particularly slow. It's going to be all about slow and steady wins the race. And a lot of the time, the Taurus energy will eventually get to their goal. That's the thing with this energy. They will get to their goal. They know how to go about it. They know how to create a plan. This is how I'm going to go about achieving my goal. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put in this many hours of work to get to where it is that they're trying to go. But the whole thing here with this energy is there is an easier way. So the whole struggle with Taurus energy overall, especially in the Mars, because this does deal with your action, it deals with the way you guys go about getting these goals and achieving these goals. Taurus energy can sometimes operate with blinders on. That's the struggle with this energy, because it is fixed earth. So sometimes this energy can be very stubborn. They can be very stuck in their ways. They don't want to budge, especially when they kind of got that ball rolling. It can definitely be a struggle for Mars and Taurus people to change, to switch it up, to maybe listen to an external person and maybe their own opinion about maybe some sort of goal that you guys have kind of like planned for yourselves, and you guys are like, this is how I'm going to go about achieving it. Maybe there is an easier way. That's the struggle here. But when you guys have Mars in Taurus, you guys might not listen to external opinions. It's very much 4 feet on the ground. This energy, I always feel it in this way where it's like, it's represented by the bull. So it's like, not only is it super grounded, first of all, it takes a while for it to budge, right? You can't push that bull. Essentially, you can't. The bull basically has to decide to move on its own. That's the struggle with this energy, where it's like, to get things started, it might be a struggle. But what I will say is, once you guys are started and you have that ball rolling, the ball is definitely rolling. So for you guys, a lot of your life, when you guys have Mars in Taurus, is going to be figuring out your worth, getting those gains, getting the money, the monetary gains is usually going to be kind of like that first instinct. That's the thing with Mars and Taurus. So for you guys, that first instinct for your worth are going to be things to do with money, luxuries, luxurious vacations. These are going to be things that are your ultimate end goal, because you guys are building your identity on these things. You guys are building your worth on these things. And interestingly enough, I'm wearing yellow. That's the solar plexus chakra. So a lot of the time, also Mars energy can tell us about our worth. It really can, because it is that internal masculine energy within. We all have these energies within us. So Mars, because it is ruled by Aries, also Scorpio, by Aries, it really deals with that solar plexus chakra in the sense where it's like, this is who I am, this is my worth. When you look at Aries energy, it's very fiery. It goes after things sometimes without even thinking about them. Sometimes that Aries energy can even be overconfident. So when you have Taurus in here, the struggle is like Taurus sometimes doesn't want to maybe take that risk. that could be the struggle. They might kind of dip their toe in the water a little bit, but then decide not to go after these things. It's kind of like that game of double dutch. You're kind of like trying to jump in, and then you guys eventually decide that maybe you guys don't want to jump in. And that's the struggle with Mars and Taurus, because it's like sometimes you guys really don't want to budge from any comfort and stability that you guys have created for yourselves. You guys might not want to change, whether this is a job, whether it is a living situation, the place you're living in, the country you're living in, whether it is your partner, your friends, your friend groups, whatever it is. Sometimes that Taurus energy really creates stability, and through that stability that they've created for themselves, they can get really, really comfortable. But there could be more. There could be something that is better for you guys, or something that you guys are even dreaming of, but you guys don't go after those things because of that fear of the unknown, of leaving your comforts, of leaving the stability that you guys have created for yourselves, maybe not wanting to start again. Because the thing is with that Taurus energy, especially in the Mars, it's like it takes a while to get that ball rolling. It's very much Kapha. I'm not sure if you guys know what Ayurveda is, but Kapha can get very lethargic. This energy can get very quote unquote lazy. I know sometimes this energy does get labeled this way, but the thing is when the ball is rolling, the ball is going to continue rolling for the Taurus energy. But going back to that whole not wanting to take risks aspect of things, sometimes you guys might have a bigger dream for yourselves or a bigger goal for yourselves, and it's like if you guys don't want to jump in, you guys don't want to take the risk, the universe might force you guys into it. And then it's like it's really hard for you guys to kind of deal with that change. Overall, change is going to be really, really difficult for a Mars in Taurus energy. And sometimes this energy can like really have these dreams of this like potential that they can live up to, and they might kind of feel disappointed because that self-worth thing that you guys are constantly like playing with that line, like feeling worthy, not worthy. That's kind of what you guys are really mastering when you have Mars in Taurus, is the self-worth, knowing that you're worthy of whatever it is that you guys are going after, whatever it is that you guys are chasing. And sometimes you guys can kind of like go after things that you know you're gonna get for sure, but maybe you can kind of push the boundary for yourselves a little bit more, where you guys can go after even more. So it's like to live in that full-blown ultimate potential that you guys deep down know you have, because the oppositional energy of Mars and Taurus is that Scorpio energy. So my suggestion, especially for fallen placements and fallen planets, is always learn from your opposition, because your oppositional energy is one of the rulers of Mars. So for you guys, it's going to be Scorpio. So you guys want to learn from Scorpionic energy, going into the depths of the soul. What do you guys really want? Who are you guys really after? You kind of release the physical plane and the physical reality. Like, yes, you guys can definitely go after these things, and everybody wants different things in life. For you guys might want all of those luxurious things and items and material things and 3 houses and 5 cars and 10 watches, like whatever it is, that's your guys' thing for sure. But to kind of get to that point where you guys really want to go, where you guys are really feeling on that soul level that you guys do truly belong, well, in that situation, you guys really want to learn from your opposition of Scorpio, going through change, being okay with going through change, going through like that huge transformation, the transformation of the self. So when you guys are able to master that energy within, because it's like whenever we have a sign in our natal chart, you want to master the oppositional energy of it as well, to kind of get into that full-blown potential once again. So for you guys to realize these types of goals or dreams or something that's even bigger and higher, you guys are definitely going to have to push yourselves out of your comfort zone, really get in tune with the soul. Like, what is it that you guys truly want on a soul level? Kind of really figure out your own self-worth of who you guys truly are at the core. When you guys start to mix that metaphysical world, the spiritual world, like really learning the self and energy and everything that Scorpio really does have to offer, the depths of the souls, going through the darkness, learning to let go, catharsis, change. When you guys are able to master that, manifestation left, right, and center. This is why Taurus energy, when it's focused on a goal, those blinders, it's very good at achieving that goal, because it still is fixed energy at the end of the day. But this energy can very much play it safe. And then there's the oppositional energy, where sometimes honestly Scorpio can be extreme, where Scorpio can really push it to the maximum edge before it's like maybe fully danger zone. And unfortunately sometimes they can go into danger zone with Scorpio energy, but they're always kind of playing with fire, almost, the Scorpionic energy. So for you guys, just a little taste of this. You know, you guys don't want to overwhelm yourselves with this energy, because it still is Mars in Taurus at the end of the day. But still, these things are probably going to help you guys get to wherever it is that you guys are trying to go, because at the end of the day, like, you guys know that you guys have this deep potential within. But unfortunately, you guys can get stuck in the comforts. You guys can get really sucked into like stability. Like, stability can be very, very important to you guys, which obviously different signs, especially in a natal chart, have different forms of stability. For you guys, it's going to be financial matters, your job, like these types of things are going to be super, super important. It's that energy where it's kind of like maybe there's a little bit of a different technique you guys can use, you know, where you're not so focused on just like the one thing and like not seeing anything else, maybe not seeing other people's opinions or other people's ways of doing things. That's the struggle with that fixed energy. That's why this energy quote unquote falls here, because it can get very focused on that one thing and only see that thing and not see anything outside of that thing. Now, this can be very many different things. things, job, career, it could be a relationship. On the topic of a relationship as well though, what I want to say for Mars in Taurus energy is, for Mars in Taurus, everything is about possessions. So this energy once again bounces off of Scorpio. So for you guys, your possessions are going to be very important. So the energy of Taurus sometimes can go into extremes. That's the thing, because it does bounce off of that Scorpionic energy where Scorpio does operate in extremes. So Mars and Scorpio, sometimes when it comes to money and things that they have worked for, they can become very, very possessive about these things, to the point where it's like they can even be petty, like to the point where it's like, don't touch that thing, I bought that thing. Or they can like make comments sometimes, especially if you guys are in the lower versions of yourselves, those shadow traits that everybody has at the end of the day. It's awareness, really all that we can really do. But for you guys, it's like sometimes Mars and Taurus can be very much like, don't touch that thing, I bought it. Or they can very much be like stingy. This energy can be very, very stingy. You guys are really learning money. It's personal finances. That's what Taurus is all about. And sometimes it can go into scarcity mentality as well. So sometimes this is something that you guys might have to work through depending on whatever your goals and your ambitions are in life, because that's what Mars deals with. It deals with goals and it deals with ambitions. But sometimes, unfortunately, it's like if something isn't maybe manifesting or going in the way that you guys want it to go, or maybe it's going too slow, once again, learn from Scorpio, because Scorpio is going to be risky. Scorpio can sometimes start to dabble in those quote unquote lower aspects of society, things like gambling. I'm not saying go off and gamble, because Scorpio can be extreme in that sense as well, but it's just like the element of risk. Even if we look at investments, you have like the scale of types of investments. You have the ones that are low risk, but those ones over a longer period of time might accumulate you a little bit of extra money. But then you have the ones that are high risk, but also high reward. And then at the same time, you could also lose it all. And it's interesting because that's why this axis Taurus Scorpio also does deal with gambling. Unfortunately, Taurus, when it does go into the shadow, it can go into gambling because it's pulling out of Scorpio. So that's the thing. You guys are learning to basically manage money and be a little bit more risky, maybe come out of that comfort zone a little bit. I'm not saying go off and like waste all of your life savings. Absolutely not. And obviously this video is not financial advice, but that's the overall idea here, where it's like you're learning to pull from the energy to be a little bit more risky in life in general, okay? Because sometimes you take that risk and it's like you jump into the deep end and you jump into the unknown and you don't even know what's waiting for you on the other side. And in that situation, it could be the most beautiful thing that pans out, or it might not even work out. So that's the thing. It's that knowing of, I tried something and it worked out, or I tried it and it didn't work out, but at least I tried. That's the thing, because it's like Taurus energy can very much get into that comfort zone. And when we look at things like metaphysics or whatever term you want to use, really, it's like it's connected to the ego, it's connected to safety. The ego wants to keep you safe. So for you guys, it's going to be a lot of things that become very much repetitive. You guys can also even get bored within your lives. It's all about safety, but sometimes it's really extreme to the point where it's like, maybe tonight you want to try a different class for the first time ever, some kind of gym class, for example. The ego wants to keep you safe in that sense, where it's like, don't go, don't try that thing, because it doesn't want change. The ego is never going to want to change. You always have to push through the ego to actually get to the other side. And the more that you do it, the more it becomes second nature to you guys. So that's the whole thing here. This is like what you guys are constantly like playing with, or like battling with, or like really trying to master. It's like that ego, that safety, learning to be a little bit more risky, try things that are a little bit more out of your comfort zone, start to take in other people's opinions into consideration about going after things. And the main thing here is really getting in tune maybe with the soul, with the self, with the dark side of the self, because again, you're pulling from Scorpio in this sense and starting to learn from Scorpio in that sense. Both of these energies, like, it's interesting because it's like, yes, the energy quote unquote falls here, but it's like if you guys really learn to start to operate in the way that a Scorpio Mars would operate, where it's like the goal is the only thing they have in mind and they put their full-blown emotional self into that thing, because the emotional energy is what really manifests things and brings them through, maybe things would start happening a little bit faster for you guys. But this is going to be a process. Obviously, it's not going to happen overnight, but that's kind of like the technique with astrology, right? You want to pull from the oppositional energy. Now, with that being said, I want to go back to what I was saying about being possessive. So for you guys, yes, your items might be your possessions, where it's like you guys might be petty, you guys might like say snide comments to people where it's like, did you work for that? No, you didn't, don't touch that. It might be to like the cent sometimes, where it's like, make sure you e-transfer me $2.03, like to the point. Maybe another person would round it or round it down, or maybe somebody else would be like, you can buy me a coffee next time, like whatever. Mars and Taurus, when you guys are unhealed, when you guys are maybe in the lower versions of Mars and Taurus, you guys might be like very much like, give me my money right away, make sure you split it equally, and it's that scarcity. So it's that whole thing with money, where you guys are learning to kind of come out of scarcity mentality. And I think it's because you guys really work hard for your money. You guys want to make sure that maybe nobody's scamming you or something of this sort. All your items, you guys really want to hold them closely and hold them tightly. Maybe you guys grew up and there was a huge focus on money for Mars and Taurus, or maybe there wasn't enough money for Mars and Taurus, where it's like it's a little bit of like that scarcity mentality when it comes to your possessions overall. And with that being said, same thing in relationships. You guys might be very possessive of your partners, and same thing, you guys might stay in relationships longer than you guys should, or like friendships. It's slowly moving. I see it as like 4 feet on the ground, not even 2, it's like 4 feet on the ground. And sometimes like even the visual I get for Taurus energy, sometimes I don't even know if this is a thing, but the way that I see it is like a person who is like near a bull, and it's like they're trying to get the bull to move, and they kind of like try to kick the bull a little bit to like get it to actually move. That's kind of how I see the energy sometimes. It's like sometimes you guys might need that extra push to get going or push to leave, and if you guys don't leave these situations, the universe might kind of align it for you after a few kind of like signs from the universe that maybe you guys were ignoring, or maybe you guys had an intuitive nudge to leave the job or leave that person or leave that whatever career, like whatever it is behind. Well, you guys might not listen to that. So that's what I mean also by learning from Mars and Scorpio, because Mars and Scorpio is all about the intuition, and it's all about like learning to listen to that intuitive muscle. Now, what I also wanted to say and talk about in this video was the energy of addiction. So this axis can struggle with addiction in different ways. So for you guys, let's say you're not getting your goals, or you guys might be avoiding starting something, or you're finding excuses not to start something. Well, in that situation, you guys might go into even more of that kapha energy, where it's like you're just like spending all day maybe scrolling on your phones, or maybe you guys resort to anything that deals with the senses. So Taurus energy can go into things like sex addictions, or they can go into things like food addictions or substance addictions, anything that feels good, anything that deals with the senses. So that's something to watch out for, where it's like if you guys are going into that energy, there's probably a goal or something that you guys are avoiding. Maybe it's even conflict, and you guys might be struggling to put yourselves out there because it's tied to your self-worth. So we're coming back into that whole self-worth energy and the self-worth theme with the Taurus energy. Now, another thing that I also wanted to mention in this video was how you guys might handle conflicts, because Mars does deal with conflict. Honestly, Mars in Taurus isn't going to necessarily be really confrontational when you guys have Mars in Taurus, because it's like guys might be wanting to save, let's say, a relationship, so you guys maybe don't confront that person because it's providing you some form of stability. Or in a job, you guys might not want to confront your boss, or like let's say someone stole your project, or like let's say you didn't get that promotion. The energy can very much avoid confrontation in one way, shape, or form, because in a way it's trying to preserve its stability. But what I will say, because it does bounce off of Scorpio, it's like this energy sometimes when it can go to the point of like it's had enough, and it like goes to that explosive energy. You guys can really go into that scorpionic energy. It just might come out of nowhere, and people might be surprised, and there might be so much rage, and it's like you're charging for people. That's that bull energy that like charges, and people around you might be surprised. They might be like, where's this coming from? Being aware of this and really learning how to manage it. But overall, what I would say for this particular energy, Mars in Taurus, is avoid the comfort zone. Even the visual that I was getting before I started this video was like, I don't know if this is a movie or whatever it is, but like the way that I see it is like a person who is constantly working at the same job, and every day is the same for them, and they're just like very much in the comforts of life, and it's like everything is nice and the money's coming through, but it's like they're bored. At the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with stability. Everybody wants stability in their own way, but it's like you guys might have this like even bigger dream or even bigger goal or even bigger thing you guys might want for yourselves, and that comfort might be holding you guys back, or the stability you guys have created for yourselves. You guys might struggle to kind of get out of that comfort zone to get wherever it is that you guys are trying to go. Or same thing, let's say you guys are working at a job and there's a promotion that you guys might really want. You guys might hold yourselves back from maybe talking to your manager about it, or maybe wanting them to recognize you. It's not very much an initiatory type of energy where it's like Mars wants to go. The Taurus energy, again, it's tied to self-worth. So it's like these are things that you guys just might have to work on when you guys really start to believe in the self, pulling from that Mars and Scorpio energy, and really start to trust in the self and know like who you guys are at the core, what it is that you guys are trying to achieve, where it is that you guys are trying to go. Honestly, you guys are going to be master manifestors because you can pull from that Scorpio energy. It just might take a little bit of time and awareness is really what that is. At the end of the day, like we really are in control of our own reality. I mean, that's all we can really control is ourselves and how we see things, and working on ourselves in the sense where it's like, okay, maybe I can be a little bit lethargic. Okay, how can I work on that? Okay, how can I be a little bit more motivated? What motivates you guys? You know, maybe figuring out what really gets you guys really excited and passionate, so you guys can kind of jump into those things that you guys are trying to achieve, because Mars is always trying to achieve something. Mars always has some form of higher goal in mind. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap up my video here, my dear friends. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did, please do like, share, and subscribe, and I hope you all have a beautiful rest of the day.